guys, and welcome back to Runway from the Rav, a Project Runway podcast. My name is Riley.
And I'm Maggie.
And today we'll be discussing Season 15, Episode 10. And the theme of this episode, the sponsor was Marie Claire magazine, which is where our beloved Nina works as well. And this time it's basically her boss, the editor-in-chief. And the theme this time was for them to make an editorial look for a powerful woman. That would be and the win is a spread in Marie Claire. And then their little bonus unique thing was that it had also be inspired by a helicopter tour of New York City. Mm-hmm. So they split everybody up into two groups because obviously helicopters can only fit so many. It was branded to Project Runway. Tim made a comment. And he's after 15 years, we finally, have to remember to use the helicopter. And it's okay, Tim. I'm sure that was just a normal helicopter. They just put some stickers on, but that was pretty cool because we got to go with them and kind of see bits of New York City. I've never been to New York City. Have you ever been there?
I have, but I did not go on a helicopter tour.
Sure, of course. There are a few who probably do. I assume that's expensive, but they got some good views and they got to see everything. Now, I think this is a pretty common challenge. Most seasons, there's usually a architectural or New York City challenge. I think even going back to the first 2 seasons, didn't somebody literally make the Chrysler Building in a dress? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then someone else in one of the early seasons made wasn't it a water I can't think of the word, a drain with pebbles, didn't they make a silver dress that looked
yes,
a crack of water? And he's that's what I was inspired by, this entire city, and he's by this dribble of water down concrete.
I think I do remember this.
I think that was early on.
I can't think of who it was, but
me either, but I think it was early. But this time we had some people inspired just by windows, a golf course, the Statue of Liberty, but there weren't anything on specific buildings. Yeah. Just kind of the idea of it. Mm-hmm. And then, so that was the idea. So they got to go on this helicopter tour, take pictures, get inspired by that, and then the idea was to make an editorial look, which I think this is our first editorial challenge, where it wasn't an everyday, because they made that very clear. They're and this is not everyday clothing.
Right.
Which I think some of the designers need to hear, because they're more street style. Mm-hmm. And then for a powerful woman, which I feel they say every episode in some of the things that get made. I'm have you ever seen an office, what a businesswoman looks like once to know what they wear? Maybe at Marie Claire people wear these crazy Project Runway things, but I feel your average office across America.
Yeah, across America is definitely different, probably.
Yeah. So it's hard to imagine some of the things they make. Now, this was not necessarily for a working woman, but a lot of people, when they heard powerful woman, I think most of them were making things for working women.
Yeah.
Now we are down to this is the top 8. Yeah, I believe.
Yes.
So the workroom, it was just a 1-day challenge again. Last week was a 2-day challenge, and a $300 budget, which I think is pretty high, because they were 250, 200, 250 most of the season. So now they were winding down. They're okay, give them a little more money, play around with things. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember if there was we got a little sneeze from Swatch at Mood, but otherwise I don't remember much at Mood.
No.
They try to make it feel really tense with Tim being stop shopping, you're done. But everybody by this point especially knows where to go to find stuff. And apparently the Mood people are super helpful, because people are just 2 yards, actually 3 yards. Oh, actually, where's your buttons? And the Mood people are just always yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so things in the workroom. Was there anything that stood out to you?
I need to think back. Well, Natalia crying at the sewing machine.
She was struggling with time again, much like last week, where she just had a lot of ideas again, of wanting multiple pieces. And while she seemed to be able to do that successfully earlier on, in the season, I just feel now this is 2 challenges in a row where either just time management or just the stress is getting to her, maybe. But
and she's just she, at least the way they put this episode together, they made it look like she just doesn't have confidence in herself. And so now that Jenny's gone, apparently Jenny was her main friend that she would go to for advice and would help her finish things and stuff, and now that Jenny was gone, she didn't know who to turn to, so this time she kind of tried to buddy up with Rick, but, I mean, I don't know, Rick's totally different than Jenny.
Yeah.
Which he did try to help her, but I don't know.
Yeah, they did show that a lot of her going up to him, and he had a talking head moment of being like, I want to help her because she's young, and, you know, and he's like, and I feel like my piece is at a point where I can. Because some people are like, I'd love to help you, but I don't have time. Mm-hmm. But Rick, at least this time. But yeah, she definitely went to him, which is odd because her and Cornelius went to school together. But other than, like, the occasional, like, pat me on the back, tell me I'm doing okay, they don't really work together.
No.
Like, they never really, like they'll both be like, follow your heart or, like, follow what you want to do, but they never really go to each other. Like, do you like these colors together? Mm-hmm. She really relied on Jenny. And there was at least one moment where Jenny, like, gave, I think in one challenge, like, 2 different people extra fabric, and one of those was Natalia.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was a little rough on Natalia to lose Jenny, and then also this time, I think she just wasn't as prepared. Yeah. She just seemed to be struggling for time, and then, crying at the sewing machine. I think this is the second week in a row she's cried at the sewing machine. That can't be good. The brother's sewing room. Which, every time Tim says, like, make sure to use that, you know, and it's like, well, it's a sewing competition. Like, basic, like, they're making clothes. Like, it's like, oh, no, I don't need to use that one. Like,
I'm just gonna sit out here with my hot glue gun.
Yeah, which they do probably more than any other designer, like, ever does on Project Runway, but, like, I think everybody sews at some point.
Yeah.
And heck, Keeney got a lot of use out of the brother's sewing room. That boy could sew. Okay, so I'm trying to think of other... There was a little bit of issue with Aaron as well. So Tim came around for critique, and a couple people, like, he was like, this looks good. Like, he looked at Rick, who made his own textile. This looks good. Majing, this looks good. Just be careful. Majing used denim again, but we'll touch on that a little later. But Aaron's initial piece... And this is coming off last week where she made a gray, oversized cocoon coat with a baby blue and lace dress for her mother. Mm-hmm. Her initial fabric she picked was this pink, heavy fabric, like baby pink.
Yeah.
And she started making an oversized coat, but she called it a vest because it didn't have sleeves. So it was an oversized vest that was like shapeless, but then down the front was like this wave pattern, like a clam. Like cartoon style, like this wave down the middle.
She cut it that way.
Yeah, she cut it. Yeah, and she was like, it'll like interlock. But when you didn't have, like, when the vest was just kind of loosely opened, it was this wavy pink. And then she lined the interior with red. So it's pink and red, oversized, kind of shapeless vest with this big, like, wiggle down the front where it comes together. It was obscene.
And no one would, like, say
no
what it looked like, but everybody knows because it only looked like one thing.
Yeah, and she, I think, mentioned it when she decided to throw it out, like, because Tim was like, I don't think this is going where you want. I would recommend starting over, and she had extra fabric now that they have a bigger budget. And she's like, well, no, I think it's going to be great. Like, I think it's different. I think it's going to be good. And then later on, I think she got a little more perspective. For the first time, she, like really completely undid what she'd done before. I think on the previous episode, she did that as well. She, like, came back to the drawing board, but it still looked like in her normal, oversized kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so she got rid of the indecent dress, which, this is just a TV show that I feel like once a season, somebody makes, like, a very, like, obvious form of the female body. And it's like Majing already had his dripping dress that he got rid of.
God,
or
I forgot about that. Jeez.
Or like, what was it? Laurence's jumpsuit had like these orange gaping things like on like the back pockets in the back, and I was like, that's reminiscent. And then this was pink and red and practically identical. So that she had a little struggle there of like her and Tim just like not agreeing on what she's kind of making. And then she had to go back and be like, oh, I have to remake something. Natalia had the same thing where she wanted to make a jumpsuit and a jacket, and Tim was like, and a rain jacket at that. And then Tim was like, why does it have to be a rain jacket? Like, why can't it just be a normal jacket? So she felt like she had to scrap her whole plan. And I'm trying to think of other people. We did not hear much from Laurence or Robert. They both just seemed to like be kind of making their stuff. Although Laurence is using a pattern this week, which Tim points out, like, we haven't seen you use patterns much, but it is a black and white pattern that she's pairing with black. So, girl after my own heart, Laurence. So, power color, stick with it.
Yeah.
when it's like a neutral like that. I'm trying to think. There wasn't like much drama really.
No. Rick pulled the old, like, I'm done. I don't need to spend any more time on mine.
Oh, yeah, he left early.
Showed him, like, sleeping on the couch. But,
Yeah, and then we got a little talking head from Ma Jing, who's pretty chill. Like, Ma Jing hasn't really, like, pointed a finger at anybody. Whereas, like, Natalia and Aaron are constantly, like, kind of, like, talking a little shade at each other. Then, obviously, Cornelius and Dexter throw shade at each other as well. But I feel like Ma Jing hasn't so much. But he was just like, hey, if you're done, you feel good, take a nap. You know, not saying whether he agreed or not about whether Rick's piece was good or done. But he's like, hey, if you feel confident, then... And it was like, that's a good attitude to have. That it's like, it's not hurting you if he goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Like... You know, because he wasn't, like, making a big deal of it, like, in previous episodes. I feel like Aaron and Dexter, and we've seen that in previous seasons, too, where, like, or, like, Swapnil, like, just sitting there, like, oh, I've got plenty of time, like, ha, 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 while other people are working hard. It's like, he just, like, went to the back and took a nap. He didn't storm out, like, Ken or some other, you know. It's just, and he didn't, like, make a big deal of, like, look at all you working. So, I think that was bold of Rick, though. Like, I think I would just still sit at my desk and just...
Yeah, I mean...
Or make an accessory or, you know, something. Like, he just keep working it. But I could see overworking, but not in a one-day challenge. Like, I don't think you could...
No,
like, hem it better, drape it better.
I don't know. I'm sure this show, it's got to be grueling, though.
True. I'm sure he's tired, yeah. Well, and he just came off a huge win with his mom. So, you know, maybe he's just, like, riding high, you know? And he's like, hey, I feel good about this. So
probably part of it.
I can't remember too much else in the...
Let's just move on to the runway.
It's really windy, if you can hear that. It's a lot of wind. Let's move on to the runway. The first one down... Oh, wait. There was a little flack about Dexter as well in the workroom where he was making a silhouette very similar to something he made before for the streetwear challenge that I think he got critiqued on. That's the Mickey Mouse shoulders jacket thing. He decided to make that again. Tim called him out on it. He said it'll look different.
Yeah, he said the shoulders were going to be more like wings, and it would just be a different shape. But...
Right, and it was like maybe 2% flatter.
Yeah.
But it was the same. But anyway, so he came down the runway first, and he had this like black floor-length lace dress that also had a little hood on it, and it had like no sleeves or anything. It went real high up on the neck, and he said that his inspiration was like looking through the like windows, which I thought was a good story, like of like New York City and like that voyeuristic kind of feel of like I'm in a helicopter, like I can peek in on people. That's where he got the idea for the lace. And then he's always pulling these random like design schemes, like, oh, this is super punk rock and like, and then it's nothing like that. Or this time he's like, oh, this is like super gothic. I'm like, you can't just make a black dress and call it gothic because it has a high neck. Like,
well, they all did though.
I guess because they had like the high neck, but to me, I'm like, I guess it's slightly gothic inspired, but I wouldn't call it like heavy goth dress. Anyway, so he had this floor length lace dress with a black jacket. I couldn't quite tell what it was, but I think it was denim. Didn't he say it was like coated denim?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And it was, it did not go, it was like kind of like cropped-ish, and then it had those big round, like, the best way to describe them is Mickey Mouse shoulders. Only this time they were slightly flat on the top, but still very, like, a rounded ear. And then his model, because it was a lace dress, you could see her lingerie underneath, and he'd asked her to wear black. And he was chosen for critique. In the bottom. Yeah, the wind is like really whistling by our Rav here.
I'm afraid.
No, we're okay. We're all right. We also are facing a lake, so if you hear a big splash, that's
going down.
That's us. Because we're like on top of a hill rolling right down to a lake, and it will be all right. The Rav is strong. Plus, we have so much more to talk about. Yes, there couldn't possibly. Weather must know. Okay, so next up we have Natalia. And I liked her color a lot. She had a blue jumpsuit. And I think this is the first jumpsuit we've seen in a while. Like, All-Stars, jumpsuit. The beginning of this episode, or this season, I feel like there's a couple jumpsuits early on. But this is our first jumpsuit in a while, I think. And then she paired it with, like, this blue, black, and silver cropped jacket. Mm-hmm. And the silver details on the jumpsuit and the jacket, she was inspired by, like, the metallic, like, reflective nature of the windows in the buildings. Mm-hmm. And she took that literally by putting, like, chrome-colored fabric, like, leather, in, like, big stripes.
Yeah.
Like, on the jacket and the jumpsuit, which were... What do you think about... Oh, I'm sorry. What do you think about Dexter's? We jumped right past that whole part.
That's okay. I don't have a lot of thoughts on Dexter's piece. Like, I just thought it was fine. Like, I thought he would be safe. I don't know. I mean, after they critiqued it, like, I don't know. I just don't have a lot of thoughts. Like, I didn't hate it. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I think if one of two things would have happened, he definitely would have just been safe. Because like we said, he was chosen in the bottom. Mm-hmm. If he had either not made the jacket with those like little circles, I think he would have been safe.
Yeah.
If he had not made that shoulder detail. Or if he had made it this time and had not made it before. Like if it was new. Or if he'd make him like a big spike or something. Like he could still have like a loud shoulder as long as it wasn't that same shape that they already didn't like. So either if he hadn't made it then, made it now, safe. If he had made it anything but those circular patterns, I think he would have been safe. But because they saw that and disliked it, then they started seeing everything else wrong with the garment. Whereas when they only see it on the runway and they don't get to see it up close, usually that's when things can get away with being safe.
Yeah.
Even if it has like a pin in it, or even if it turns out they didn't do the work you think they did, or there's like details missing. Like if they only see it on the runway and they're like, oh, you're safe, you don't have to worry about that close critique. Mm-hmm. They pick you for a critique, then they're going to be like, oh, what's this? Oh, and this.
Yeah.
So it's risky. True. So I think it was, if he had done anything different with the shoulders, I think he would have been safe.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hate it either. I don't think it was super unique. And his constant push that he's like the super unique avant-garde designer, when we've seen these shoulders before from him and from other people. Not in Project Runway, but like in fashion. So okay, so then Natalia, what did you think about her jumpsuit?
Yeah, the construction really bad.
Yeah.
It was not great. And I didn't like how literal the like chromy shiny parts, like that fabric, I just thought that was kind of a mistake. Mm-hmm. That one was a little bit student tendencies, and she's young, like she just graduated, just like Cornelius, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know, and like she just, I don't know, she just needed to have more confidence in like what she wanted to do. Like I kind of feel like Rick steered her a little bit in the wrong direction, because he told her what to do with the jacket, and I did not like how the jacket turned out. And I don't know.
Yeah, I feel Rick and Tim both steered her wrong. Tim tried to steer her away from a jacket, like a bigger like coat type jacket. Like she wanted to make like a rain jacket. Which could have been cool if it wasn't like a yellow slicker. Like if it was like kind of a cool jacket, it probably would have been fine. And then Rick was like, oh, you should just make it shorter, like make like a cropped jacket. I will say, I thought her jumpsuit, like the suit itself, fit pretty well. The jacket, like the sleeves were weird, the length was weird, but like that was one of the better jumpsuits in terms of fit. Like it fit her model, like the pant part. I don't know that they took the jacket off to see how the top fit. They just showed like the band across the back. She tried to add like this harness detail. But the bottoms fit pretty well, because we've seen some wonky pants and jumpsuits. So I was like, I'll give it to you there. But yeah, the black and like silver metallic, just like racing stripes. I think the judges said it like a very superhero. Like a Power Ranger, and that's what I felt too when he just used like silver and black with this really bold blue, and then it's like a jumpsuit and a jacket. It looked like she like, I think Heidi was like, all she needs is a helmet and she can go fight crime, which could have been cool. Like you could have that play on a powerful woman of like somebody going to like, I think Nina said like Comic-Con, and I'm like, well, that's fine. Like it's 2016 now. Like a woman can be powerful and strong, and she doesn't have to be in a pantsuit going to her lawyer's office. Like you can be a strong, powerful woman and be a nerd, or you can be a quiet person or a gothic person, so I'm like, but she didn't fully commit because she didn't mean it to look like that. It was like an accident.
And, like, she said she chose the blue because she was inspired by water.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Natalia.
Weak.
She needed to be resuscitated, and she was not.
No.
But she was chosen for critique in the bottom. Mm-hmm. Next up, we had Roberry, and he loves to mix patterns. He's a little like Dom Streeter in that way of like, and he tended to do it pretty well. So this time around, he made like this flowy dress that used a really like kind of purpley pink, and then like a pink and white striped fabric, and then a black fabric, and then a white and black patterned fabric to make this like flowy little dress that went to like, I don't know, like just above the knee.
Yeah.
And it had like the sleeve, like wavy things that like connect from like the end of your sleeve like down to your dress for like the wing kind of thing. This would have looked great on the Windway.
Yeah. It would have been a good one.
What did you think of this?
I actually did not like this. I don't know. To me, it wasn't really that original. I didn't like how he mixed the patterns. I mean, his color choice definitely stood out against everybody else's, but...
Yeah, his and Natalia's really popped. Like,
But I don't know. Not my favorite. What do you think?
I thought it was a dress. It didn't wow me. I liked the movement part of it, but yeah, I feel he used a few too many fabrics. And then that, I don't like that particular color. Like, it was bold and it had a nice splash, but I'm like, where'd you get that from New York?
Yeah.
Like, he liked the idea of, like, his inspiration was, like, the wind and being free and, like, flying.
Yeah, I think he said it was his parachute dress.
Yeah, and that he just liked the idea of, like, flying in the helicopter and, like, air and everything. So I got kind of that, but I was like, but why bright, like, pink?
Yeah.
Like, why not, like, I don't know, like a light gray or blue or... It just seemed weird. And then pairing like pink with a slightly different color pink in a pattern was just a little too much for me. But he was safe.
Yeah, I thought he would be in the bottom rather than Dexter, honestly.
Yeah, I could see that. Yep. But no, he was safe.
Yep.
So next up we had Maggie. And he made denim. Denim and tweed dress, and the denim was like standard, like blue, like slightly dark blue denim, and then the tweed was like this like weird multicolored pattern that was like orange and yellow and a little red and a little green, and then he like paired it. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. But
it was like multiple layers of like tweed and denim put in together on like kind of a simple dress.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
I liked it. I did not like how he, like, cut out the chest area.
Yeah, that was unnecessary, I thought.
Like, I thought they were going to hate that, which I think Heidi made a comment, like, maybe it should be lower or something. Or higher, one of the two, I don't know.
Lower. It was way too high up,
Lower? Okay. But they weren't really that bothered by it, which I was surprised by. I mean, I thought it was, like, he did a really good job with the construction. And I think Tim said, like, that's really difficult to sew tweed and denim together.
Yeah, because tweed's so stretchy.
Yeah, which I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Linda. She struggled with that, like, knit that she got to make that gray dress that she got eliminated on because it just kind of stretches and sags. And I think tweed, if it's not, like, with something else, probably has the same... kind of thing. But it was cool. I liked it. It was very graphic, and I got where, because he was inspired by shipping containers, like when they're all stacked up, and his tweed really looked like that. I'm not a huge fan of denim in terms of like anything other than a pant, but it was okay. I'm sick of other people being called out on like, you keep making jackets or you keep doing this, and he hasn't yet to be told that he's made denim for like over half of his things.
Yeah.
And he's not alone. A lot of people have been using neoprene again and again, or other people have been using denim, but I'm just like, he uses like the same color denim. Just like Keeney always used that real dark denim, and he got called out all the time, like, Keeney used denim, and Majing's just like, denim, 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 and no one stops him, so. He made a red denim bikini, and I will never forget. Or forgive. I like Majing, and so did the judges this time. He was chosen for critique in the top, so they liked it. Next up, Cornelius, and he made a light gray dress, and he was inspired by, like, the buildings, like the shape of like protruding buildings, because since they were so high up, like the idea of the buildings like kind of coming up, and then also a golf course. Apparently there's a golf course in New York City. There's probably one at like Central Park. I don't know. I wouldn't think they'd have room for like a golf course, but hey, apparently there is one, so that's what he was inspired by. So he made this light gray dress with like seams And I think they were actually separate parts of fabric that he, like, sewed together in a very intricate pattern that kind of resembled, like, a golf course, like the curves of the holes in the hills. And then how, like, I can only describe these as, like, a window.
Yeah.
And he had, like, 3 of them. And they had, like, they almost looked like feathers, but they were little, like, rectangles that were, like, blue and yellow or, like, red and yellow over, like, a background that were just, like, on the dress in 3 different areas. Real small. So there's, like, this gray, really structured dress within, like, these 3. Like, one was over, like, I don't know, like, the left or right, like, chest. One over, like, the stomach to the right. And then one over, like, the left haunch.
Yeah.
Like the butt cheek. Haunch. Which, I did not like the placement of that one. But what did you think of Cornelius' dress?
Well, I never thought this moment would come.
Oh, no!
He made something that I liked.
Bum, bum, bum.
I was just like, wow, okay, like, this actually turned out. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't say it was my favorite, because it wasn't.
Right.
But I liked it, and I was like, okay, like, this is really freaking me out.
Yeah.
I felt bad for you a couple weeks ago, and last week I didn't hate you, and this week I kind of like you. Like, what's going on?
Cornelius is like the, like, Cinderella story of this season, where it's like, we love to hate you in the first few episodes, and now it's like...
I guess so. Like, to be honest, when he said he was inspired by a golf course, I was just like, what the heck?
I got worried,
That's stupid. Like, I just was like, no. Of all the things in New York City, golf course, like, what? And the judges were like, oh, that's so awesome. That's great.
Yeah, that's funny, yeah.
And it's like, no.
But, I mean, at least he didn't make it out of, like, AstroTurf or something.
Well, on his original design, he was gonna do, like, the little cutouts were gonna be in the shape of, like...
sand traps and stuff, yeah.
Which I'm really glad that Tim was like, no, that's pretty literal, buddy.
Yeah,
Don't.
Tim was like, I wouldn't do those amoeba-like shapes. I was like, that's a sand trap, Tim. Like, he was going to make those. So he made the cutouts, like, a little bigger, yeah. I liked the dress, too. I didn't like the windows a ton, because they were so obvious. Like, they had, like, a border around them. I would have liked it better if it was just, like, the little feather thingies, and I did not like the one on the haunch. It was, like, covering, like, one of her, like, literal, like, her butt cheek, and it just, I was like, who would want just one of those there? Because it was, like, just, like, this little window that was, like, vaguely, like, kidney bean shaped, with, like, that was sizable, like, the size of, like, maybe a piece of, like, writing paper, like, or printer paper, that then just came up in these little rectangle. But he used, like, leather for the colors. Because he bought, like, one of, like, every, like, color of leather. Like, he had, like, red ones, green ones, blue ones, like, everything. He was chosen for critique in the top. They liked it as well. Next up is Laurence. And she made a black, like, cap sleeve top. It was a dress, but it looked like separates. Top with a patterned, that was, like, black and white and, like, grayish. Like, a really volumized, like, short skirt with it. Kind of like, I wouldn't call it, like, a bubble skirt, but it kind of, like...
I kind of would, though.
Yeah, it, like, puffed out a little, yeah. What'd you think of Laurence?
I liked it. I mean, it's definitely different. Something different than what she has been doing lately. There was no jacket.
Or really even a shoulder detail.
No.
It was just a cap sleeve.
I think she did, like, that little skyline piece, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the bottom of the top was,
Did she do that out of leather?
It was hard to tell if that was, like, just the fabric of the shirt or... But, yeah she kind of made, like, the skyline pattern as, like, the hem of the shirt. Yeah. Which is kind of neat. Couldn't really tell on the runway, though.
No, but it was still nice. I liked it. I like her. She's cool. Yeah,
I always like her stuff. I liked it. It felt very safe to me, though.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, for editorial, and it was. She was safe. And then next up we had Erin. And she turned it around. We talked about the piece she made originally. She went back and she made something out of this, like, metallic pink, like, shiny pink tweed with a blue ruffle, a dress. And it was cut, like, quite a deep V. No sleeves, just, like, a little, like, I don't know, like, 2-inch, like, strap. And then this blue ruffle that she said was made out of, like, what construction workers wear. Yeah. And it was, like,
it was supposed to be, like, reflective, I think.
Yeah, too. And then her tweed was, like, metallic. And it was, like, a 4, maybe, like, 6-inch wide, like, ruffle border on the bottom of this, like, high-low dress. What did you think?
Not the best. I mean, I I did think that it had nice movement when the girl was walking. Mm-hmm. But... And it was better. It was better than the pink wave dress.
It was. Barely.
But... I will... I don't know. It was... She did something different, though, than what she has been doing. It actually fit the girl. It wasn't oversized and, like, shapeless. Mm-hmm. But...
See, I feel this looked a lot like what she made for the, like, glow-in-the-dark challenge. She made, like, that little, like, cutesy, like, flowy dress that had almost the same shape. And then, now this one was a dress, and the top fit well, but it also looked like she just cut the tweed and didn't, like, hem it or anything.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like accidentally it just happened to fit her model. And then the ruffle, I cannot.
Yeah, that ruffle was ugly.
It was so This is honestly one of the ugliest things I think I've ever seen on Project Runway. It was hideous. And the fact that she was chosen for critique in the top blows my mind. Yeah. Like, I know I've been on a little anti-Erin kick lately, but this just... And it felt still like her style, but I just don't like it. It looked like something you would wear to, like, a clown convention if you were, like, Lady Clown.
Yeah.
And then she paired it with bright red, gigantic high heels with this pink and blue outfit. Bright red, like huge high heels.
Eyeshadow.
And bright blue eyeshadow. It looked like a clown. And her model's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And has a great little body. And the dress, like, moved around her. And I'm like, if you didn't have that blue ruffle, if you'd maybe, like, given, like, the hem or, like trimmed it out in, like, black or white, I could kind of see it. She didn't even attempt to say what it was inspired by from New York. Like, she didn't even try. Because it's just pink tweed. Nothing there. Like, no. Other people tried and it was bad, like blue like water, or it's pink because of air. But this was just like pink because I tried to make a clam dress and it didn't work out for me. But she was chosen for critique in the top, but she was kind of split. Like, some of the judges liked it and some did not. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, we have Rick, and he made this white draped dress with a black splatter that he did himself. And it was, like, draped. And he was inspired by the Statue of Liberty, which is about as played out as the Chrysler Building. But he just inspired by, like, the draping, I guess. But then he had it layered, and you couldn't tell from the front. But he had it layered over, like, a really simple white and black dress. Like, white dress with black trim that had, like, this, like, silver starburst across the front. So that when this other piece, this, like, draped, splattered piece, was up and around her on the front, and it looked, like, kind of pretty. And then on the back, there was just, like, a strap holding it on, and you could see the plain dress underneath. And it was like, did you forget something? Like, the whole back half of your dress? Like, the judges, when it first came out, were like, oh. And then when his model, like, gets to the end, they were all like, what? Like,
yeah.
And he did not mention that at all, like, in the workroom, that it was not going to wrap around. And that he made, actually, an entire undergarment for it. Mm-hmm. Like, a whole nother dress with a belt and everything. Like, what?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
The judges said apron and toga.
Yeah, and he's already made an apron dress, literally.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I really liked it when it first came out.
Yes.
Although, I will say, I did not understand the, like, silver straps that were randomly in there.
Yeah, it had silver that's what was holding it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just for function.
Yeah, but I don't know why silver and not black or white, or apply the splatter pattern to those, or try to hide them under the fabric. Yeah. He just had, like, two, like, silver things at her neck. Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a letdown. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about the splatter stuff he did. Like, I think at least one of the judges said, like, it looked good at the top, then once it kind of got towards the bottom, it was pretty, like, muddy, and just didn't look like he'd maybe done it as carefully or something, which I agree. I don't know. It looked good, but at the same time it didn't. I don't know. And, yeah, that back, very unresolved. Just, like, I don't know. It's just, like, what was he thinking?
Yeah, if you were going to have something there that you couldn't see from the front, it either should have kept that whole wrap and drape around, or underneath should have been something exciting.
Yeah.
Like, something that, like have a bold color, or even black. Like, if the dress underneath was black, it probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But because it was a white dress underneath and short, that looked like a completed, like, cocktail dress. And it was just, like, if that had been, like Natalia's blue, or even green, like a Statue of Liberty green, you know, something under there to be like, oh, it's like a little
Yeah.
And have that dress be, like, something more than, like, this simple, like, trimmed out cocktail dress. Or something black. Or, yeah, it just, to me, I was like, I liked it. And the whole time I was like, yeah, Rick. Like, Rick's my guy. Like, I like Rick. Black and white. He does some good stuff. And then it turned around, and that's the first we'd seen of it as the audience, too. And I was like, Rick! Like...
I know, because he definitely didn't run out of time.
No, he had
just
time.
Chilling.
Yeah. He thought that, like, this is what he wanted to make. And he defended it. He was like, yeah, I intended for it to look like that. Mm-hmm. And then that he made, like, an entire dress underneath it. Like, he had so much time, he could take a nap, and he basically made 2 garments.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, Rick.
Yeah. I think it was a judge. Now, he was chosen for critique in the bottom, but he was split as well. Some of the judges liked it, some didn't. But I think one of the judges said it looked like he went to a picnic and, like, the tablecloth flew up and stuck, like, not him, I'm sorry, his model. And it, like, stuck to the dress she was wearing, and now she just has, like, this mud splattered thing attached to her front. Once she said that, it was kind of like the toenail dress or the fingernail dress. I was like, that's all I could think about.
Well, but okay. Someone said that, but then someone responded, maybe it was Zach, and he was like, oh, that's what I like about it.
Oh, that it looked like, that it was a separate piece, yeah. Yeah, Zach seemed to like it, and somebody else kind of liked it. Oh, the Marie Claire woman, she liked it. So her and Zach liked it. Nina, Heidi, and the guest judge did not. And I think it was the opposite for Erin's.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Nina did not like Erin's dress. Because Nina was like, this is not the best dress in the competition. This is not the best dress you've ever made. Mm-hmm. She's like, this is kind of sad. And I was like, Nina. So that meant our top 3 were Manjing, Cornelius, and Erin. Mm-hmm. And our bottom 3 were Natalia, Dexter, and Rick. So the winner of this challenge, I think the top 2 were probably between Manjing and Cornelius. That's who they seemed to like the most. Why Erin was there, it boggles the mind. But between Margie and Cornelius, it ended up going to Cornelius, his first win of the season after he was saved. What'd you think?
I just didn't think it would ever happen. And I definitely didn't think that I'd be kind of happy for him.
Well, at least you agree with it. If he'd won on, like, those patchwork pants or the emoji dress, I don't know that you would have been okay with it.
I thought he did win the emoji dress.
He did not.
But he didn't. He was just in the top. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, go Cornelius.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that meant that then Majing and Erin were safe. Mm-hmm. And the bottom 3, again, were Dexter, Natalia, and Rick.
Yeah.
And Rick was let in safe.
Which I'm happy about.
Yes.
I don't want him to go.
No, I like Rick. And since he just had this huge win last week, $50,000 win. So that meant our bottom 2 was Dexter and Natalia. Mm-hmm. And it turned out Natalia went home. And then Dexter went home.
Snap!
A double elimination, which is not rare in Project Runway, especially now that the save is there. Like, to keep the episode length. But this is a really late in the game double elimination. And I felt so bad for Dexter just because, like, usually if you go home, they, like, call you and then the other person's like, that means you're safe, you can stay. Mm-hmm. But so he thought he was going to get that message. You could see the relief on his face because he's very expressive, just like Majing kind of, where you can kind of always tell what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And then she says, and Dexter, you're also out. And his face just... Because you think you're safe, you know, like, and Natalia was like, I'm just glad I made it this far, and I think Dexter just got, like, a sucker punch of, like, I thought I was going to be safe. Like, that's what you tell everybody. I've been in the bottom before, and you're like, okay, that means, Dexter, you're safe, and he'd be like, oh, thank you, and, like, going, oh, that hurt a little bit to have that, like, double elim on a time, like, an episode where I felt we've had way weaker bottom 2s this season than this time. Like, I didn't love either of them. I was like, what's going to be Natalia? But Dexter's, I didn't like. And once they found out that he didn't make the lingerie underneath it, so he literally made, like, a lace sheath and a jacket they didn't like, I think is when they were like, he's out too. But that blew my mind. Because I'm like, we've had some rough bottom people where, like, you kept Majing's, like, glow-in-the-dark dress that looked like a sheet from a, like, hotel under blacklight. Like a dirty hotel. Or you kept, like, some of the things Brick made, and it's just like, and you kept both of them, or you kept one of them, and then this time, when they were both like, okay, one obviously worse than the other, it shocked me.
Yeah. I'm sad. I'm a little sad, because I know, like, they were, at least according to the editing, they were starting to make Dexter look a little bit catty.
Like a villain,
shady,
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't know. But, I don't know. I still like him. Despite all of that, I'm still just like, no, he's cool, though. And he's like, I don't know. I just like his style.
Well, I liked he was one of our voices this season, I felt. And I liked his perspective because, like, Aaron tends to just be kind of monotone and meh. And Cornelius is just always talking shade. Whereas Dexter's like 20% shade, 80% funny quips. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm gonna miss that part of Dexter. And I don't think that his piece was bad enough to go home for.
No, I don't either.
I feel like if the save had not already been used for that really rocky team challenge, this probably would have been like the Tim save. Because I think Tim likes stuff that Dexter makes.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's already been used, but I think he probably would have been like, nope.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have saved Natalia, though.
I said it this morning before we gathered for our official podcast, but this was like a classic example of karma. Dexter goes home, Cornelius wins!
Yeah, whoa!
Like, what the heck?
It's a Project Runway Cinderella story. You know? Cornelius is quote-unquote, like, evil stepmother. Gone, kicked out of the castle. And he wins, which I'm not sure I agree with. There's still parts of Cornelius I don't like. Like, when he first learned, like, because Natalia walks in and she's like, I'm going home. And they're like, oh, no. And then Dexter walks in and they're like, oh, but you're safe. He's like, no, I'm going home, too. They cut to Aaron's face, and she looked devastated because they're close friends. And then it cut to Cornelius's face where he was quickly hiding a tiny, satisfied smile.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a petty person. I probably would have done the same.
So she did with Cornelius. When Cornelius goes home, you're going to just be grinning.
Oh, yeah. It's coming.
It's coming. All right, well, so that was this episode.
Yeah.
A double a limb, and now we have our top 6 designers.
Yep.
Now, I don't think there's an episode next week.
No.
Because of Thanksgiving. So we're going to have a bye week. We'll catch back up with you guys in December. But do you have any final thoughts?
No, looking forward to next week. Looks
what
like
is
they're gonna do like metal. Did you see a preview?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all I remember is like they went to like a garage or a warehouse or something. There was a car there.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not gonna describe this very well, but basically it kind of looked unconventional.
Ooh.
Because they have to like grab, and all of it looked like it was just like all these metal pieces and parts.
Cool.
And then it cuts to the workroom and they're like cutting themselves
with
pieces of metal and cutting the models too. And there's like chain and sheet metal and other stuff, and they're hammering and sawing. I don't know.
So unconventional challenge again. That could be cool. Yeah. And with the top 6 people, we could get some cool stuff. Mm-hmm. Because I feel pretty good about our top 6.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll have a bigger discussion when we get to our top 4 of like how we feel, but
yeah. And just want to make note real quick. Dexter was also in our predictions to make top, wasn't he? So I think that's another one down.
I think he was mine. Like, I was between Dexter and Mahjong. Because otherwise we're both down with Tasha, and all we have left is Aaron.
Aaron, which we don't want to put our...
I don't want to put my eggs in the Aaron basket because I no longer like the color of that basket. But that yellow putrid basket. But I think it's pretty clear she's going to make it to the final 4 because of all of her... Like, she even admitted, I've been on the bottom 4 times, but I think 5, there was just a team challenge in there as well, in a row, and now she made this pink dress that I think should have sent her home. Yeah. It should have been her and Natalia out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So, we will see you guys not next week, but for the next episode in December.